Well, that was a game of two halves.
Yeah, it was. So really disappointed in our first half, and obviously really happy with our second half. So obviously went with possession, but we didn't really build any pressure in the first half at all. And the second half was, we built a lot of pressure. So that about sums it up.
What do you put that first half down to? The inability to not build any pressure.
Obviously, dropping the ball. Our completion rate was terrible. I think it was just on 50%. So you're not going to build any pressure with that sort of percentage. But I'm not quite sure. I don't like to say this because we're certainly not about that. I don't know whether we looked a little bit complacent or, again, I don't like to think that. But I think the other thing was probably, it's our first 5-day of this year, so I think that was probably more the point where. Though I thought, we had a couple of light sessions during the week, and I thought that our captain's run we looked fairly lively, after a 5-day turnaround. But that was probably more the point, and just still a little bit sore, I suppose, and just a couple of changes in positions as well. I don't know whether that might have had a little bit to do with it, but I think probably that 5-day turnaround. So we just need to make sure we. I know where we need to plan it a bit better, the 5-day turnarounds, or we've had a system because we get a lot of 5-day turnarounds usually, so we've got a bit of a system. But perhaps with a lot of these, we've got a lot of new players in our team. We might have to change that. But I can't really put it down to one point, except that we made too many errors. But why we did that, we were very we knew what we had to do. We were pretty well planned on how we wanted to go about things, but we just didn't do it in that first half. And as I said, we didn't build any pressure. Second half, we built a whole heap of pressure, and that's what happened.
We talked about Harry's toughness before he put on another show tonight. Would he get a dislocated finger or maybe a sternum injury?
Yeah, he's a tough kid, and they kept finding him. I think he had about 28, 30 tackles in the first half. So, they knew what their target was. But, he handled it really well, as he always does. As I said, he's a tough kid. His sternum was a little bit sore, but, again, he had a guard on that. And then, I'm not quite sure how much damage he's done to his finger or if he's done any at all. But obviously there's something there. So we'll just need to have a look at that and see what happens for next week.
Do you think we'll continue to see Harry starting at number 9, or is it just going to be a week-by-week thing?
Yeah, I think a week-by-week thing. I think it's worked pretty well the first 6 weeks or 7 weeks or whatever it's been, and then this one tonight, again we just wanted to see how Harry started the game. We know he can start games, and one of his strengths is his fitness and his ability to play 80 minutes. So we just wanted to see how him and Brandon went, starting together. So like I say, I think we'll mix it up a bit and do what we think's best for the team each week, and I'm sure the players will be happy with that, and go from there.
Did you have to give him a bit of a spray at half time today?
Yeah, it was a little one. It's probably the biggest one they've had for a bit, to be quite honest. But I thought that was sort of, I don't know whether they need to hear it, but I need to say it. So, I'm probably not as bit mellow in my old age these days, so it probably wasn't like one of the sprays they would have got 10 years ago. But but there was just a couple of things we needed to fix up, and just wanted to make that point pretty strongly, and with all due respect, they responded, in real good fashion.
Cameron Munster had a bit of a mixed game tonight. In fact, he gave his boots away at the end. I think he's like, let's get rid of those bad luck charms. What did you make of this game?
Yeah, I don't know about the bad luck charms. I thought he played, pretty good. He got beat on the inside shoulder there for their try in the first half, which was a little bit disappointing. But I thought overall his defence was pretty good. His line speed was good, and most of his contact was okay. Other than his goal kicking, that was probably the, I thought he played okay. Other than that, so there's obviously a couple of things he'd like to do a bit better, but with Cameron, you always got to take a lot of good with a little bit of bad, and Yeah, so I imagine he threw them boots away or give them away because of his goal kicking, I'd say. So he missed a couple of sitters, I suppose. So, yeah, but like I say, we don't want, at the end of the day, we don't want that to affect the rest of his game, and, we know what he gives our team, and as long as he keeps doing that each week, and, we'll find a way around the goal kicking.
Ahead of the Rabbitohs on Thursday night, what's the one thing you want to see improve?
Oh, well, obviously, as I said, start the game, with completing some of our sets, like again, getting into what we wanted to do, but where we sort of like rushed into it, or we probably it took us a little while to get our second win because of the 5-day turnaround. I'm not quite sure, but that's. Most teams would say that. I was quite happy with our defence, to be quite honest. And I thought we'd done a pretty good job to hold them to 8 points, I think, in the first half. So, but like I say, it's we just know that we need to complete better and and fight. Sometimes it's about finding that balance too. About we just don't want to stick it up our jumper because that's not the way we play our footy when we've got the ball. But we just need to. Just realise when we're in some situations, some circumstances, and perhaps play a few more the higher percentages and the lower percentages. So,
Is Nico okay?
Is that good?
Is Nico okay?
He had a bit of a problem with his calves, and they weren't. There was no strange or anything. It was just because he hadn't played 8 minutes of footy for a long time. Last week he certainly hadn't done that this year. He hadn't played the game in the Queensland Cup, I don't think, and he was only playing, cameo roles, I suppose, for us, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So his calves were just a bit stiff. So he didn't do much training yesterday, to be quite honest. So we just, took him off at the end there just to make sure, hopefully he can recover for next week. We're not quite sure about what's going to happen with Paps next week, but we're really happy with what Nico's done. He's done a really good job the last 2 weeks, and even before Paps got hurt, he was a regular in our 17. So I don't think that's probably going to change. So So,
but do you feel like your team's still adjusting a bit to the new captaincy model? It looked a little bit like.
Oh yeah,
voice wasn't.
Again, at the end of the day, that's their secondary role. They've got to play their role out there to start with, and when you're like Jess and Dale, and they're in their 30s and they've never had experience of captain of the team. That's not easy to do, to be quite honest. So obviously Cameron had a lot of practice and he was very, very good at it. But again, we knew it was going to be they take a little bit of getting used to that, and when to go to the referee and what they go to the referee with, and when he wants to talk to them, and so like I say, we knew it wasn't going to come easily to them. Like I say, Cameron never ever hardly missed a game, so they got a bit of practice at it. They just didn't. So I suppose I didn't think of that up until Cameron retired either. You just don't sort of think of those things. But at the end of the day, that's a secondary thing. At the end of the day, they toss the coin, they lead the team out, but they got to do their job out there. And as I said, that's the number one thing. And then they can help each other look after the captaincy from there.
You get Pete Nelson back next week?
Yeah, he should be back. So again, we're not quite sure what's happened with Paps. As I said, he'll be close. Whether like it's a 6-day turnaround and then we go into a longer break, so whether we take the conservative route there, I'm not quite sure, but we should have Nelson back.
And George.
Oh yeah, and George, he should be back too. So I thought he's made his best game of the season tonight. Rumours, he was outstanding for us. So it took him a little while to settle in, but what he did tonight was understand the reason why we wanted to sign him.